What is up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, and social well-being. And today I'm going to be taking you through day one on my current mesocycle, as well as kind of giving you guys a few updates. So the first thing is to know that as of right now, since I'm no longer doing Raw Nationals, I was originally going to try to do another meet in October that would have been a week later at Metroflex Fort Worth, the USPA meet, but it's already full. So right now, Derek and I are actually going to start our prep for a meet that's going to be December 8th called, I believe, it's either Bend the Bar or Break the Bar, I'm not sure. And it's a USPA meet. And it actually kind of works out because that just gives us even more time to build. I'm someone where I like to usually have about at least 6 months between meets. I like to do it for myself. I do it for my clients just because it gives you actual adequate time to build. And instead of, like, you know, rushing from meet back to back to back, getting kind of small PRs, it gives you real time to really build more strength, a little bit more muscle mass if you have a longer off season, so that way you can actually like go into it. Now the weight classes are a little bit different with USPA. It was 74 kg was the top of my weight class, which is 163 pounds. With this one, it's 165 pounds, or like 75 kilograms, which works out well. Since I'm like 160 pounds right now, it means that I can actually go ahead and start, like, you know, being in a consistent surplus and very gradually build to, like, you know, 165 or even a little bit over that, because whereas the USAPL had, like, you know, 2-hour weigh-ins right before, the USPA has 24-hour weigh-ins. So even if I'm a little bit over it, that's fine. I can do a quick little simple water cut without being too drained. But really, if I just take my time, gradually gain, like, you know, about half a pound to a pound a month, you know, keeping it a nice lean steady surplus, I should be able to get to around 165 pounds by December anyway. So that's going to be happening. I'm going to start off, like, I'm around 160 pounds right now. I'm eating around about 3,000 calories. Like I said, I told you guys, I lost quite a bit of weight when I was going through a couple of those weeks of stress. Got down to 152, back to 160. Been maintaining around 3,000. So I'm going to start with about 3,265 calories. The exact macro breakdowns are 163 protein, I want to say 109 fat, and then the carbs were like 408. Let me see, I want to say the carbs were, I have it on screen regardless, but the carbs were, yeah, 408. So 163 protein, 408 carbs, and then 109 fat. So that's what my current macros are going to be looking like for this lean mass phase. Starting off, I'll probably be, you know, adding as we go gradually depending on how the weight moves, but that's the plan as far as that. Now, something else that I want to clarify very quickly with you guys is the fact that I don't need you guys like arguing back and forth in the comments over like, oh, USAPL is better, USPA is better. It's not about that, guys. It's like, first and foremost, I don't suddenly hate the USAPL or suddenly hate anyone that participates in it. I have lots of friends that are still going to be doing USAPL meets. I coach the UNT powerlifting team, which participates in USAPL meets, and I have clients that participate in USAPL meets. And it's not even that I hate the USAPL. It's not even that I'm like done with them altogether. But as of right now, until further notice, I don't want to do USAPL meets. I'm not doing Raw Nationals for some of the reasons that I went over in the previous video. But the thing is, if you're somebody where you like the USAPL and you see no issues with it, then by all means, keep competing in it. If you're somebody where you do see some issues with it, things that you don't like, but it's nothing major enough to make you want to stop competing in their meets for right now, keep competing in it. For me, it comes down to the fact that due to my values and my standards, and it's not just like the no camera thing in nationals. That's more so why I'm not doing nationals. It's not the only reason why I'm kind of done with USAPL meets for right now. There's a lot more that goes into it, a lot of things just like with their decisions, the choices that they make, that to me just come across as being like very greedy and not thinking about the best interest for the members, the athletes. So for me, due to my personal values, my ethics, my standards, I simply don't want to continue to give them money right now until I start to see certain changes made. I feel like it's really stupid at worst and hypocritical at best to keep complaining and whining about all the stuff you don't like about an organization or federation, but then continuing to give them money. That doesn't make sense to me. You guys know that I'm like that. So that's why I'm doing the USPA meet for now. Like I said, I know that they have a very small, like, you know, drug tested division they're starting to build. That's what I'm going to really try to participate in predominantly. I'm not sure if this upcoming meet, the December one, if that's an option. It might just be like you go against whoever, because I know USPA, you know, has, like, you know, a non-tested federation. That's what it mostly is, but I don't care. Because once again, you know, whether somebody beats me due to, like, you know, they've been training longer, where they beat me due to the fact that they just have a higher genetic potential for powerlifting than I do, or due to the fact that they're not natty, whatever it may be, I'm going in there to first and foremost better myself, to make sure that I, you know, hit my goals, hit my PRs. And of course, I am competitive. I still want to place as high and as well as I can, but I understand that by participating in a federation that that has a small tested division and mostly a bigger non-tested division, that I have the possibility of going against people who aren't natural. But that is far less of an issue for me than continuing to participate under a federation that does things that I simply do not agree with from like an organizational business perspective. So yeah, just wanted to make all that clear. Anyway, I'm gonna take you guys through what day one looks like with this workout. So enough talking, let's head to the gym. All right guys, so we have 175 kilograms, that's 385 pounds on the bar, and that's what I'm gonna do for my top set of 3 at RP6. Those of you who've been here with the videos know that last week on the last block, I had a top set of 3 pause squats with 385 at about RP8. So I'm thinking doing it for normal competition squats without a pause, 385 should be about RP6, maybe a little bit under that, but that's okay. Warm-ups felt really good. You saw the last 2 warm-ups, 330 and 363 moved very, very well. Honestly, ever since my meet, going back into flats, my squat just feels like so much faster. You guys know the past few months that it's been a lot slower because I made those changes that even though it made my squat more efficient and like tighter in form, that it takes, like I told you guys, when you change your movement pattern, it takes a while to get used to it. So at first it felt really slow, but I think at this point, it being like, you know, 7 months of working with that movement pattern. Actually like 5 months. I had like 2 months when I first started Brendan where I couldn't really do my competition squats, but now I'm at the point where like the movement feels very natural. I'm able to move fluidly, maintain position, but still move with speed. But what I wanted to explain to you guys very quickly before I get into these top sets is that somebody in the comments asked on like the last video or the video before that, like why do back down sets no matter what the day is. So understand this, guys, that it's all about, once again, total workload. Now I like using the word total workload because it's workload, volume, same thing, but oftentimes when I use the word volume, people just think about sets and reps, but total volume or total workload is your sets times your reps times the weight. And I love the way that Brendan puts it, that, you know, intensity determines the type of adaptation that you get. Meaning, you know, we're doing like heavier sets, stuff like that. We're doing that because we want to practice how we play. We want to get used to heavy, like, you know, triples, doubles, singles, because we're getting ready to prepare for 1 rep maxes. But volume dictates the magnitude of adaptation, how much adaptation you get. So for me, guys, keep in mind that when if I just come in and do my warm-ups and just do like 1 top set, or even on the days where I have 2 top sets, that's just 2 total working sets, right? So the way it works, I come in, I do a top set or 2 top sets based upon a certain RPE, so I can get a certain level of intensity, a certain level of exertion. And then my back down sets are always based upon percentages. So in actuality, if I say have, like for today, I have a top set of 3 and then 3 back down sets of 4, that's 4 total working sets. So even though there's a top set and back down sets, it's still 4 total working sets. In the same way that if you're on a purely percentage-based program that tells you, oh, you have 3 working sets of 5 with this weight, or 4 or 5 working sets, whatever it may be, those are your total working sets. You don't count the warm-ups. The same thing for me. My top sets and my back down sets are my total working sets. But the top sets are more to get a certain level of intensity or exertion. That's why they're based upon RPE. The back down sets are where I'm really building more of that strength, building more of that volume, getting that greater magnitude of adaptation. For the mere fact that, think about it, simple as this, what's gonna give me more total workload and thus more strength, more gains? Doing just 2 sets or doing 5 sets? So if I have like 2 top sets and 3 back down sets, obviously the 5 back down sets, the 5 total working sets, more total workload is gonna be more beneficial for me, as long as I can adequately recover from it, of course. So that's the purpose of the back down sets. Plus the back down sets are always based upon a percentage. And the reason we do that is, for example, my back down sets on squats today are gonna be at 72%. Next week they'll probably be like 73 or 74%. And that is to ensure progressive overload with that workload. Even if let's say I feel really good today, let's say I get this 385 from my top set of 3 at RP6. Let's say next week I'm feeling really crappy. So in order to get, say, the RP7, let's say the RP7 ends up being the same weight because I'm just not feeling as good as I am today. So even though I'm doing the same weight, that was true for the RP for that day. Well, there's no progression that way if I'm only going based off RPE, if I keep the weight the same based on how I'm feeling. But the back down sets, since they're based off percentage that goes up each week no matter what, ensures progression. So I just wanted to make that clear as to why I have back down sets, you know, on my big movements like my squat, bench, my deadlift. Now my accessory work, those are all, like I explained in the last video, like, you know, usually just straight sets or mile reps, and I progress on those gradually based upon, like, you know, weight reps, whatever it may be. But that's why I set up that way. Anyway, let's see how this top set of 3 moves. 385 RP6. So I'm very very happy with how that moved. And I think it was right at an RP6 for me. Maybe RP 5.5, but for me it felt like right at a 6. So I felt like I had like definitely 4 reps left in the tank. And it's just really awesome. So I'm gonna show you guys a clip really quickly from back in May when I did 385 for a single at RP6. So that was just back in May. So to go from hitting it for a single at RP6 to be hit it for 3 at RP6, honestly just feels really good. But anyway, now I have 3x4 back down sets with 72% of my max, which is set at 460. So it's gonna be like 330 pounds for 3x4 back down sets. Then we'll get to deadlifts, in which case I'll talk to you about the difference in structure with how we're doing deadlifts this time around compared to how we've been doing them in past blocks. In case y'all are wondering what was up with the lighting, it's that I don't know why I swing like that. Anyway, back down sets felt really good. All 3 sets of 4 felt great. It's interesting though, because I'm used to doing pause squats, which is what I did for the past 4 weeks on my previous block. Like pause squats, I'm used to pause squats, so they actually felt better than what count squats feel right now. But I have plenty of time to get back into the swing of things. Like I said, I'm not competing until December, and these still move well. It's just the fact that with my pause squats, I'm so used to, like, you know, taking my time, tightening up, maintaining position at the bottom. So it's just kind of getting in the mindset of keeping all that stuff, keeping all those cues as I be more explosive with actual competition squats. And anyway, like I said, if you guys are curious why I was doing pause squats, pause deadlifts, I'll have a link in the description down below that goes over like that block as far as why I was doing that, the benefits of it, all that good stuff. But on the previous block for deadlifts, we had pause sets of 2. Like I had a top set of 2 and then 5 back down sets of 2 pause deadlifts. Now we just have beltless deadlifts, so normal comp deadlifts with no belt, and it's for singles. And pretty much the mindset behind this, guys, it's something that I've been testing with a couple of my clients and something that Brendan's also been testing with his clients. But basically, it's still a good amount of volume. It's like I have a top set of 1 at RP5, but then I have 8 back down sets of 1. So it's kind of like, it's the same total workload though, right? Or a little bit more. It's just instead of doing like fewer sets and more reps, we're doing just singles, but more total sets. And the idea behind it is it's gonna allow us to become a lot more efficient with the movement because we're only doing singles. It's gonna allow me to work on the brace, the tensioning, all that without worrying about getting as fatigued during the set because I'm only doing singles. That's pretty much the summed up version behind like the idea behind this. So it's gone really well with a couple clients I've done it with. Brendan's seeing really good results with the clients that he's doing it with, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna work out well for me. And I've done something like this before with deadlifts. It's just been a long time. So we're gonna see how the day goes. Top single at 5 and then back down sets of 8 back down sets of 1 with like I think 76% of my max. So let's get to it. So this is where things get a little interesting. It's like I'm trying to gauge my RPs. I haven't done beltless deadlifts since like, was it like February, March, January, February. I think it was like January, February when I had beltless deadlifts for like 2 blocks when I first started with Brendan. So figuring out what my RP5 is a little bit different. Right now, this is 195 kilograms. It's like 429.9, 430 pounds. So I'm gonna pull that, see how that feels. Maybe that'll be the RP5, or maybe I'll boost it a little bit. We'll see.
Alright guys, so finishing this video off with the voiceover just to clarify a few things. So you guys are about to see that the 430 moved really well. Definitely wasn't quite RP5, I was a little bit under that. So then I bumped it up to 205 kilograms, which is like 451.9 pounds. So basically 452. You guys are going to notice that even though it moved well, it moved at the RP5 I want. I kind of rushed my setup going down compared to what I was doing on the warm-ups just because I got a little like overhyped for it. So my positioning wasn't quite what I wanted. So on these back down sets, I really focused on making sure that I took my time and focused on positioning, still pulling with explosiveness, but really taking my time to properly tension the lifts. And then JD Michael and Jasmine actually all showed up randomly, literally just to mess with me the whole time. But all in all, what I really want to focus on, guys, is that this went really well, and I'm really excited for how these singles are going to go, because it's like, notice like just the consistency of my position from rep to rep, and the total volume, like I said, I think it's like a 1 rep difference. I had a top set of 1 and then 8 back down sets of 1, so that's like 9 singles, right? Whereas before I had like 5 sets of 2 on my deadlifts on my last block, so 10 total reps. So it's like a 1 rep difference. So I'm still getting the same volume of workload, but just I felt way less fatigued. I felt on point. Each rep felt nice and fluid because you're not, gassed from doing a previous rep in the same set. So really excited to see where we go as far as these. And then after the deadlifts, just showed you guys a little bit of the accessory work. Pretty much just Bulgarian split squat. So I'm no longer doing the single leg hip thrust. I'm back to the split squats because those serve the purpose that we had them in the programming for. And then after this was just a little bit of core work, which I didn't bother showing you guys because it's nothing new that you guys haven't seen before. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you did not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do to do better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.